This episode of the bonus round, we delve into our top 5 favorite superhero video games, followed by a random game review on Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Stay tuned, the show starts right now. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
This is Collateral Gaming. Welcome to Collateral Gaming Bonus Round. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
And we are podcasting straight from San Antonio, Texas. And yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, blunts, bongs, the like.
Just smoke it.
Smoke it. Especially since it's 420 month, right, Dakota?
It sure is. It is April of 2020. And so, all month long, it's 420.
Yeah. It's the only month long 420, of our lives, right?
Yep, 420 all day.
The
all
true
day, every
420.
day.
And, how else better are we celebrating it than, quarantined?
Right, exactly. I mean, what else are we going to do?
I mean, it's honestly, it's what's working out for the better, I think. I'm kind of enjoying the ability to kind of work on the podcast more right now.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It gives us time to do whatever we need to. A lot of gaming time.
So, there's always that silver lining in all the panic and the turmoil. But anyway, we were kind of doing this bonus round episode, kind of like our last episode, just me and Dakota talking about things like top 5 and 10 lists and, random game reviews, maybe indie game reviews. So maybe, focusing on certain genres. I mean, really, it could be whatever we want it to be.
Right.
But I guess we're kind of running analog to the Collateral Cinema Director's Cut and kind of using that format. So in any case, this is just kind of just more off the cuff. I'm really not going to even probably edit this, to be honest. Like, everything that's in is in. And we're just chilling with it. So today we wanted to talk about our top 5 superhero games. And I guess we'll go right into it. I mean, one thing I've been doing is I've actually kind of rewatching the MCU, so that's kind of made renewed my interest in the superhero genre right now.
And of course, due to this podcast, we're now playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of Marvel we're seeing right now.
Yeah, we're I don't know. It's kind of been kind of a niche that we're in the moment, so it's nice. And we sat down and Dakota and I decided to come up with our top 5 list for top 5 superhero games, and we came to the realization that there's really not a lot of games that that you've played that I haven't.
Right,
and vice versa.
And you and I have played the same amount of games, and in that game, library, that game collective, there's not that many superhero games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
within our collective consciousness.
Right, exactly.
So that being said, we're gonna kind of do just a single top 5 list. Normally, we would offer our own 5s, but we're pretty much gonna have the same answers on this, just in maybe a slightly different order. But we're going to go ahead and start off with number 5. And what is that, Dakota?
Oh, Second Son. Yeah, infamous Second Son. That's a really good one. We started that. That would be our second episode we did on the podcast, right?
Yeah, we did.
And that one, that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that one. I haven't played any of the other Infamous games, so I can't really contrast anything, compare anything. But I absolutely loved it, and of course, superhero game.
Yeah, it is its own superhero game, and it only isn't higher on the list, I think, because we're comparing it to, I guess, more genuine, like traditional superhero games. But it very much feels like a superhero game. It's definitely, I think, in that category,
especially because you have this choice between hero or a villain, and you choose the superhero path. And that's the one that you're designed to choose.
Yeah. they never explicitly said superhero, but Infamous always felt like superhero to me.
Right.
And Second Son was no exception. We put Second Son on the list because that's really the only Infamous game that we've played. But Infamous Second Son was exclusively on the PlayStation 4. I think kind of fully taking advantage of the hardware there in a lot of aspects. We really had a lot more to say about this in our episode, I guess. We're not going to go into too much, but yeah, that's kind of it would be higher on the list, but we had to consider, what you think of when you think superhero game.
Right.
And a lot of that, comes down to like, what we've been alluding to, the Marvel universe, with the DC universe as well, but we'll get to that later on the list. But Spider-Man 2 was what we put for the number 4. This being the game that on the Nintendo GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and the Xbox, not any of the PC versions or the console the portable versions.
Now, this would have been my first real Spider-Man game. I think I've played a little bit of the original Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 2 was the defining one because that's the one where you can fly. I say fly, but swing around New York, and it feels so. It's the first open game,
Yeah, exactly. And for a long time, I think it was the definitive Spider-Man game, or at least the one that started the trend. And like you said, it does incorporate open world gameplay, being able to freely swing New York. When you compare it technically with something like Infamous Second Son, of course, with more that we can do in these types of games, we're going to have better games. But when you consider what it did for the superhero genre overall,
yeah, that definitely puts it higher on the list.
And despite the technical limitations, Spider-Man 2, remains, one of the definitive superhero games to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, of course, you've got your games that have come out later on, which, of course, we'll get to.
But yeah, Spider-Man 2 is really the predecessor to a lot of, I think a lot of superhero games. You definitely see it in. Well, we can't say it here because there's a couple of games on this list that are derivative of Spider-Man 2. So we'll get to those in a minute. But yeah, it really was just kind of a genre founding title. And I have a lot of fond memories. I'd really love to go back and play Spider-Man 2. I hope maybe some point we might do that on the podcast or something.
That'd be nice.
Kind of compare and contrast it with that other Spider-Man game that we did an episode on. Which we're not going to go into much more detail. Anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and go into number 3, which is
it'd be Ultimate Alliance, which is actually what we're going to be talking about in a little bit if we get to this list ever. But Ultimate Alliance, a lot of fun game. This was a founding game for my childhood, and this is what really brought me into the Marvel universe because I learned so much about comic book characters and villains and just everything about the Marvel universe. And so then coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and learning what I know from that, and now going back into Marvel Ultimate Alliance again is just it's wild. There's so many things that I missed and I needed to know, and it's really good. Definitely should play it. There's a reason it's on this list.
Yeah, no, definitely. It honestly would be higher were it not for technical limitations, I think, at the time. Because there's just so many places more recent superhero games are going now because of what we can do in this type of, Hollywood action type. But Ultimate Alliance at the time, and obviously there's sequels. There's been Ultimate Alliance 2 and recently Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance 3, which is each game is made by a different developer, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. I think Sony took part in the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other two were completely made. The first one was like Raven Studios or whatever.
Yeah, Ravensoft, right?
Yeah, Raven Software, something like that.
Yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is really the only game in the series we've actually played. Although I'd love to do 3 and do an episode on it.
I would as well. I've seen a little bit of gameplay. It looks pretty nice, but I don't know, something about the nostalgia and the groundbreaking, the cooperative gameplay, just everything of Marvel Ultimate Alliance was fantastic.
Yeah. I want to throw it out there that if there's any game that's not on this list, it's not that necessarily we don't consider it better than any of these. It's that we just probably haven't played it.
Right, honestly.
This isn't our experience. So, but yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, going back for us, was really, I feel like it was an integral part of us our childhood playing video games.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's something that we were able to work on together. It introduced us to the Marvel Universe and some things we would later see in the MCU. We had already had, a fair introduction to in Ultimate Alliance, which is just a overtly complicated Marvel game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got all of the lore and everything.
Everything it needs, yeah.
And the ability to have, almost any of the Marvel superheroes you can think of. Although now, there's a lot of heroes we see that could have been included in this game.
Right.
But, in any case, there's a lot.
There's a lot. I mean,
big roster.
Anywhere from Norse mythology to just your Spider-Man from Queens. It's just like all the different stories, and they throw it all together. You go out into space, you go into Doctor Strange's realm. We'll get into it. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is actually the game that we'll be talking about later. Just incidentally, it's on our list for top 5 superhero games, but it's the game we kind of wanted to do a random game review on. And
right.
Actually, that's kind of how I tied it together. But we'll get into more of that later. But yeah, this is Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. All other versions I really don't have any experience with.
Right.
But I believe that there were actually different characters that appeared on different systems.
Yeah. Well, I know Ultimate Alliance 3 is only on Switch.
Yeah. Ultimate Alliance 3 is exclusive for Switch, which is actually kind of surprising, but I'd really like to see where that's taken on the Switch hardware.
It's supposedly one of the most sold games on the Switch. Supposedly.
Yeah, I believe so. There's so many Switch games I want us to get into. I have a Switch Lite now, but the problem is we can't record gameplay with it, and it's hard for us to play multiplayer with it. So I really want to get into it and just start doing some Switch titles, but we'll probably have to wait till next season because we're probably just going to need to go ahead and just buy another Switch.
Yeah, at that point.
But yeah, we would love to play the hell out of Ultimate Alliance 3. And probably we'll do an episode on it. So number 2 on our list is, well, I felt like we've alluded to it, but the Batman Arkham series.
Yeah, that would be our DC contribution to this list.
Our DC contribution. And honestly, Batman Arkham Asylum, set the precedent for superhero games coming forward, including number 1 on our list. We'll talk about it in a second. But in this list, I mean, I ended up having to just kind of say the Batman Arkham series overall, because if I were to include each game, then there'd be 3 slots taken up by
all the Batman games, because there's all 3 of them in that series, and I've yet to actually get into any of the 3 of them. I've actually
4.
Oh, there are. That's 4. Right, duh. They're the 4th one, the City or whatever.
Okay, so just to clarify here, this includes Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, and Batman Arkham Knight. Now, I haven't played all of them. I've played all the way through Asylum and City. Asylum, I beat 100%. City, I beat the story. I've gotten quite a ways through Knight, but I haven't beat it yet. And I've played some of Origins. But overall, there's a tone that this series sets. And obviously this is on various platforms, but essentially it has been the same game on all platforms. So it's not like older games that are on our list. But it really is kind of the definitive experience in a video game that makes you honestly feel like Batman.
Yeah.
And it really does. You feel that side to the character that is maybe not even explored in all media, like being the world's greatest detective. And, just the ability to stealth, kill enemies, the whole stealth portions of it, using the various gadgets.
Yeah.
Honestly, Arkham Asylum blew my mind when I played it because I just love the atmosphere of it. And it's weird to me because Arkham City and Arkham Asylum are kind of on the same tier for me for different reasons. But Arkham Asylum just has this feel that's really not replicated in City. But City, just objectively is a better game because it takes what Arkham Asylum does well and expands it and makes it better. Origins was kind of more of a spinoff, I guess. So it was this, I think it's kind of ignored a lot, but I've heard that there's a lot of redeeming aspects to it. And Arkham Knight actually has gotten quite a bit of criticism. Even though it's the most technically advanced Batman, a lot of people felt like the route that they went with the story and maybe overusing the Batmobile segments kind of hurt the game overall. But I've enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I mean, I would say it probably for me so far exceeds what Arkham City did, just on a technical level. So, but yeah, the Batman Arkham series is great. Dakota, I know you don't have too much experience with this series.
No, I haven't. Just from watching you play it, honestly.
Yeah, but we will end up doing an Arkham game at some point. Like pretty much all of these games, if we haven't already done on our podcast, we are doing or will do something within that series or franchise.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we'll definitely do maybe Arkham City because I think it's kind of held in the fans' minds as the best game. It's kind of their Ocarina of Time.
Right. Well, like you mentioned, this game brought in aspects which lead into our number one slot, which would be Spider-Man PS4, which we have alluded to so much.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah, this isn't just the definitive Spider-Man game. It's the definitive superhero game. And if there's anything I will defend over anything else that you may even have to offer to me, it's that this is the perfect superhero game so far. Great. Hopefully the sequel's even better.
Yeah, I hope so. That's right. They left you hanging on a sequel. Yeah. I mean, they're ready for one.
The sequel threads are there. It's likely going to be on the PS5. I'm really excited to see that. But Marvel's Spider-Man is a game that we did talk about. It was our season finale last season. We had a hell of a time with it. And we're going to do a Let's Play on that episode as well. Just because I was thoroughly impressed. It took everything that Spider-Man 2 did, and, as far as open world gameplay, free swinging around Manhattan, it took that and then it added other things. It added Batman Arkham, and it added a lot of those aspects to the formula. And that's weird thing saying that you could add elements of a Batman game to a Spider-Man game, but they, surprisingly translate really well. You've still got the stealth mechanics. You've still got the gadgets.
It's roughly the same, just Batman. I mean, well, it is. I mean, they're the same characters, right? I mean, they're taking down enemies and they're not killing them. I mean, it's the same. It really is the same aspects. I mean,
yeah, that's an interesting, detail that they have in common. But I would say that Spider-Man.
I don't know. I feel like Spider-Man and Batman have a lot more alike than you really think. I mean, Spider-Man and Batman really do have a similar mindset. It's just Batman grew up in this rich rich childhood with his parents dead, and Spider-Man was the opposite. He grew up in a poor, like everything's fucked up neighborhood, But I don't know. I see it. They relate,
They do relate, and beyond that, I what I like that Spider-Man does is that it incorporates some of the precedents that, like we said, Spider-Man 2 brought to the table, which incidentally, were explored in Batman Arkham, I think, as well.
Right.
But Spider-Man was honestly a masterpiece. We thought it was deserving of Game of the Year. But now that we've played God of War, which actually won the award, I mean, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. You're right.
And Red Dead 2, which was another big contender that year, is a game that we got to experience.
Yep.
But yeah, Spider-Man still is something that I have a hell of a time playing. It's got infinite replay value for me. If you want to hear more about that, just listen to our Spider-Man episode, where we talk about that. But that kind of concludes the top 5 list segment.
Yeah, I know we've got some favorites, some other some mentions, honorable mentions, right?
Honorable mentions, yeah, honorable mentions.
I was thinking of one, Iron Man. I know we played that one. Remember that game?
It's not a good game, though.
I know it wasn't that great of a game, but
I played it the other day, though.
Did you really?
Because I was kind of in the mindset. I was like, I need to start playing some superhero games.
There you go.
So I played that one, just to have it. And it's honestly a terrible game.
It is,
but it's fun.
It's fun, right? In its own aspect, just the flying around, being Iron Man. It's hilarious. But hey, that is a superhero game, and I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah. No, and it actually kind of did make you feel like Iron Man. So I guess it succeeded in a lot of aspects, but it definitely has some flaws. Oh, yeah. I think it's just pretty jarring that it doesn't incorporate the talent of the Iron Man movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, honorable mention for just being significant.
There you go.
Also, Spider-Man, the original the game that came out in 2000. This is not based on the movie, but this would be the version on PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and Windows. this was a game that I actually played growing up. Not as open world like Spider-Man 2 is, unrelated. Yeah. Spider-Man 2 being based off the movie, this being just its own game. But it had this, it did have a linear structure, but it really kind of did nail the aspect of Spider-Man in a lot of ways and utilizing all of his abilities. I remember just playing a lot of that growing up and entering the cheat codes and being scared of Uatu the Watcher for some reason.
That's funny.
Yeah. But that's kind of something that's in the back of my mind. Also, Lego Marvel Superheroes and Lego Batman, the video game.
Of course, you can't forget any of the Lego games, all the superhero Lego games. I mean, those are fantastic, and they're not to be excluded from this list. It's just that when you look at it and you need to put a real superhero game in here.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Lego games are better as an honorable mention, really.
They're better as an honorable mention. For us, it just doesn't quite make the cut for top 5, but definitely very interesting. They contend with
they have really
mainstream superhero
the storytelling that Lego games give are very interesting because generally there's no talking. Especially in those ones, there's no talking, and so they're able to relay a story to you that just like the movies do, practically, but you're a part of it. You're just these Lego characters, and it's just kind of childish.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're definitely a lot of fun. They're silly. We've got some more Lego games coming up.
We do.
We are going to do Lego Star Wars at some point. We're going to do the complete saga, but I think we'll end up doing Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. Just because that's going to be that updated take, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. We did our Lego Harry Potter game review, or analysis, or podcast episode, and we had a lot of fun playing that. But there was a poll that we did, remember?
Yeah, there was,
and Lego Harry Potter was chosen, but Lego, we're saving Lego Star Wars for later.
That's the plan.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that kind of concludes that part of the podcast. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to go ahead and get into Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
What the hell is going on here? Where's our air support? Get those forward guns going. Why aren't those rear batteries firing? Somebody get General Wilson on the horn!
Colonel Fury.
Doom. I'll have your head for this.
I have little time for your petty threats, Colonel. Surrender your ship now, or I shall destroy it.
Not on my watch.
This is a priority alert to all metahumans. UNN Alpha requests immediate assistance.
Thor, take care of those gunships. Spider-Man, draw them towards the stern.
Sure thing. I just love being a target.
Wolverine, you go
it, Boy Scout. I don't take orders from you. Soulless machine? How dare you strike the son of Odin?
Show off. Excuse me, is this the ferry to Staten Island? Looks like you could use some help. That dude scares me.
What are you girls looking at?
All right, we're back. We got White Claws. We took a piss break and collect our thoughts.
We have thoughts.
We're here to talk about Marvel Ultimate Alliance now. That's our random game review this episode. And honestly, it's kind of what spawned the whole top 5 list. Was I just wanted to kind of keep a theme going, and Ultimate Alliance incidentally just happens to be on that list.
Yeah, you're right. This game, we spent a lot of time. Like I said, it's another childhood game, of course. But we spent a lot of time with it recently, just in preparation of this podcast. And I just didn't want to stop because I wanted to keep going through it. And little do we know, we were still only through ending Act 1.
Yeah.
Out of all 5 acts, and I totally forgot how long it was, but I know I beat this game plenty of times. But it's just weird how much I remember of this, and it's been so long since I played.
I know, dude. You played the hell out of this game back in the day. And this is something that was big to both of us, something we grew up with, like Fable, to a lesser degree, like Infamous, kind of when we were older there. But this definitely happened actually prior to our experience with the MCU. Mm-hmm. So it's what shaped our understanding of the Marvel Universe in a lot of ways. And it really does, like we said before, really get into the deep aspects, the lore, the mythos. It exists in its own continuity, but it actually combines aspects of both the Ultimate and 616 mainstream continuities.
Right, yeah, especially with like your customization, your costumes and whatnot. They bring in all your different outfits from like your Ultimate, your new comics, your old shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of different characters. You can make your own dream team up essentially, and once you progress through the story, you get access to more characters. Of course, somehow we have everything unlocked, even though I started a new story.
Yeah, I think it has to do with us. I don't know, the fact that we've played it a lot already. I don't know.
Yeah, and that would be old data for us, but it's still kicking. But yeah, we had a lot of fun, replaying this lately. We would, just sit and like last night we played for hours.
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of want to play a little bit more.
I do too. I kind of want to just get through it. I feel like we could just breeze through it if we did it.
I mean, it's a lot of time though.
Yeah, we can do it. We're done with Act 1. We can go to Act 2 now.
Yeah, we've got we're definitely gonna want to. I think I'm definitely gonna want to invest a lot of time into Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
You're right.
That's got to be an episode next season. Like, I'm really considering it, especially because I have the Switch now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hopefully we can actually get something that's going to be easy for us to play multiplayer with.
Right.
But Ultimate Alliance, the original, like we said before, set a lot of precedents, I think, for a lot of the items on this list. And I know we said that a lot, but set a lot of precedents for superhero games moving forward. In just the idea of having multiple characters to play as. Of course, you also have your franchises like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. There's what else? There's a lot of Marvel games I've seen. Like, I've seen like apps. There's a Marvel. What is that one? Have you seen that Marvel game?
There's Contest of Champions, Strike Force, and
there you go.
Future Fight. I think.
Future Fight.
I played a little bit of each of them. I didn't really get into it. I'm not really big in the mobile gaming department, but definitely impressive games. Ultimate Alliance is definitely an impressive game for its time. And still is. It's still, a fun game. It has an extensive cast.
Absolutely.
You can play as
so many people, and they go from all your villains. They bring so many villains, and so many just many minor characters that you wouldn't think would be in this game or in this game.
If they're not playable, like they're in the game.
They're in there, yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and it's really there's a lot of attention to detail and how much just effort they put into it. Like it's actually its own continuity in the Marvel universe, or its own universe. It has its own designation, whatever that is.
Right.
But so does every Marvel superhero game. But yeah, Ultimate Alliance really just set the bar high for games that were based on existing properties. Actually being good.
Right.
And it's still fondly remembered to this day. I remember when Marvel announced Ultimate Alliance 3, people were ecstatic because the first 2 games are really just a memorable experience. So We definitely recommend it. I had, the best time playing it again recently. All things considered, what would you rate Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
All things considered, I mean, shit, we spent so much time. I personally spent so much time playing this game before this, but I mean, give it a number. I guess I give it a good 4. I don't know, but this is a great game. At least a 4, maybe 4.5.
Yeah. I definitely
This
agree.
was definitely something that I really enjoyed because this was where I got all my Marvel lore from,
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely we've got actually I wanted to mention it, we've got Marvel's Avengers coming out soon.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, hopefully. I'd really like to do that. Maybe that deserves an episode. I don't know. I'm kind of really excited about it.
Yeah, it may come out soon depending on this fucking virus.
But yeah, no, as far as me, I'd go ahead and give it a 4. Yeah.
Right.
3.5 or 4, but I'm kind of leaning more towards 4 because I think I need to explore the game a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like I played through several of the levels with you, but not all of them. I just kind of had it sprinkled throughout. And then, just now we've been playing up until, like Act 2. And I just realized just how much more this game has to offer. And I'd really like, to investigate that more. So, yeah, but all things considered, just based on how much potential there is and how much I know is actually going to be there when I get around to finding it, definitely a 4 out of 5. So, and that's a lot coming from, an old, game from
2006.
previous generation, if you think about it.
Yep.
Now, so, yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one, and playing it again recently brought a lot of nostalgia and childhood memories back. So we definitely recommend it. Go play Marvel Ultimate Alliance or any of the sequels, Ultimate Alliance 2 or 3. So,
yeah.
Really, that's it. You can find Collateral Gaming on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, social media. We are on all podcast platforms, or most of them anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anywhere you get your podcast, we're bound to be there.
Just search us up.
Yeah, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Chill Lover Radio. We are going to be doing our God of War episode, which has actually already been recorded at the time that we're recording this. We'll be releasing that the following week, so really looking forward to that. It'll be just a few days after this one's released. So, God of War, we recorded that with Megan and Alan, who are jumping on as full-time co-hosts. So.
Yes, full-time co-hosts. They probably will not be joining us in any of these bonus round episodes.
No.
Looks like this is going to be kind of a you and me thing. But when it comes to our full-on episodes, our numbered episodes, they will be joining us on as full-on cast members. So that is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. And they're going to also kind of take control of the streaming aspect. So we're actually really excited to have them on.
Yep.
Megan and Alan, you guys are listening, we're excited to continue working with y'all.
Yeah,
and,
we need y'all's help with the news, too. That's helpful.
Yeah, with the Collateral Gaming news segments. I guess I'll go ahead and also reveal, after God of War, our upcoming episode, our 420 special, Mario Kart 8.
Yes. No, that's going to be fun to talk about. I feel like we're not going to have that much to talk about the game itself, but more of the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, we're going to kind of be comparing and contrasting, with episodes of the franchise as a whole.
But it is something to talk about, and there is a lot to unpack. And
I flubbed that.
Yeah. No, it is going to be interesting. It really will.
Yeah, it's actually... it kind of reminds me of if anybody listens to the Collateral Cinema movie podcast, Dakota and I are on there as well. And we had some episodes like Leprechaun where we just kind of talk about the Leprechaun franchise as a whole, or a couple other ones, but yeah. So we're going to kind of have some episodes like that with Mario Kart. So, but we'll get into that later. We honestly felt like that was just an appropriate, stoner themed game. I believe we're going to be trying to do stoner theme the rest of this month. I know this episode's in April and God of War is, but everything coming forward is going to be 420 themed for the rest of the month. So probably another bonus round is coming out this month, maybe, and that should be 420 themed. Probably go talk about stoner games or something. Best games to play while stoned, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, look forward to that. And then the rest of the season, we're coming near the end of it. We've got a few episodes left. We've got a bad game review coming up.
We do.
We've got spoiler drop. We've got Assassin's Creed coming up.
We do.
We're excited to actually start.
Start a trend with that.
Well, yeah. Not only that, but we're excited to start planning next season.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm already thinking about what kind of games I want to bring to the table and want to talk about. And I've like I said before on the podcast, I have everything planned as far as like 6 seasons of content forward, but it's all just suggestions. It's all just like, okay, if this, then this kind of thing. So
That
I
doesn't
have an
mean
endless
don't
list.
Right. That doesn't mean don't send us suggestions. We still need those.
Absolutely. And with Megan and Alan coming on board, they're going to get to pick some episodes out as well. So that's going to be fun.
Yep, and that's 2 more social media accounts and all of whatever their social medias are, which I'm sure we'll hear in the next few podcasts. But that's more to just contact and talk to. They're more than just Ash and I know.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. As far as Dakota and I go, you can reach out, to both of us on social media for sure. We've got no problem with that. We're on Facebook and Instagram and
Everything.
Twitter. So,
fuck Twitter.
I actually am pretty. I use my profile about as much as I use the Collateral Gaming profile. So it's updated. I update my shit with Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming News as well. So and my personal life. So, but yeah, I guess we're running out of things to bullshit about. This was a really fun superhero themed episode. I'm not really sure where that came from. It's I was feeling it.
You're feeling it, and here we are.
But anyway, stay tuned for our upcoming episodes. That being said, I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
We are Collateral Gaming. We are out. Collateral Gaming is an L Company production. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.